are going to start the program. How about let's start out with a nice big round of applause for 2025 Wilmington Good Guy, Terry McDermott. All right, the buffet took a little longer than we expected, so that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you so much for coming out. All right, a couple of things to get out of the way right away. Everyone, if you have not signed the guest book outside, please make sure on your way out you do sign it so that Terry knows that you were here in attendance. In fact, if there were some people that are supposed to be here and not, go ahead and sign their names. I would like to recognize the previous good guys who are in attendance tonight. In fact, you know what, before I do that, let's talk about the good guys. A lot of you probably don't know what this program's all about. And so I'm going to give you a history. In 1967, there was a group of people in Wilmington who realized that there was one gentleman in town who went above and beyond. It was doing so much for the community. His name was Rocco DiPasquale. The original, well, not the original, but the owner of Rocco's at the time. And so what they did was they got together and they rented a function room in Rocco's restaurant, and they had Rocco cook and serve a meal. And at the end of the meal, when they were presented with a bill, they said, by the way, this is for you. Congratulations. You are Wilmington's good guy. And Rocco was very touched by that, and within a couple of years, he realized that he wasn't the only one. There's a ton of people who are doing such great service, going above and beyond for the town. So he started the tradition of each year naming, does this sound okay? Yeah. I feel like I'm getting echo. Okay. Each year, Wilmington chooses a good guy to represent that year. It's been going on nonstop since 1967. I think there were 1 or 2 years. I think, certainly, where's Mike Burns? I know he's here somewhere. Mike Burns is the longest reigning good guy thanks to COVID, which some people think was caused by him. So I would like to recognize previous good guys who are currently in attendance tonight. From 1978, John Brown. If you could raise your hand, let people know where you are, John. 1992, Bob DePalma. 1993, Tom Pizzara. 1998, Bill Ross. Stand up, Bill. 2000, Joan Searfoss. 2010, Chris Neville. 2013, Steve Bjork. 2014, Bernie Nally. 2015, Anne St. Ange. 2017, why am I saying that? 2017, Becky McGrath. 2018, Diana DiGregorio. 2019, Mike Burns. 2020, Mike Burns. 2021. 2023, Patrick Giroux. 2024, Jennifer Bolanos. And here at the head table are Jennifer, last year's good guy, and her husband, Christian Bolanos. And of course, Terry and Tom. And I would like to thank, by the way, videography by Tom Pizzara, 1993 good guy, and Don Leard. And we also have WCTV. Elijah is helping us out tonight as well. We would like to thank DBD Florists for the centerpieces on the head table. And there are centerpieces amongst your tables. Some of them are real flowers, some of them are plastic, some of them are not flowers. it was all done by priority of importance people. So we'd like to thank our chef, Masterilli Catering. We should also certainly thank our bartender, whose name I didn't grab beforehand, but thank you. Thank you, Mike. I have been told to point out the dessert and coffee table. All right, and so we are here tonight to celebrate the 2025 Good Guy recipient, Terry McDermott. Terry's contributions to this community are endless, and you'll hear many of those details of her service tonight from the various speakers that are going to come up. We surely have to stretch this into several nights to list everything she has and continues to do to help make this town of Wilmington such a great place to live. So, just so you know how this generally works, typically, after the Good Guy Committee chooses the recipient, and they do so by going through nomination letters, and there are a number of very deserving recipients, but certainly Terry was the only choice we could make for this year. We'll meet with the family and friends, and they'll feed me information so that I can give a nice gentle roast. This year, the only spokesperson was Vicki, and quite frankly, Vicki doesn't know much about her mom. I mean, at least not prior to her development of consciousness. So, I have some details to share, and I'm going to be making some stuff up. It will be up to you to figure out which is which. Terry was born and spent her early years on a hippie commune in Northern California. If only. That's where she learned to live off the land. Then she hitchhiked to Massachusetts and settled in Peabody when she was around 9. I say around 9, by the way, because nobody knows where her birth certificate is. Hippie communes are notorious for poor record keeping. This much is clear. Terry met the love of her life while she was at some point in her 20s. They met at a party, and immediately Tom knew that he had to impress this woman. So he asked her on a fancy date. They set up a time to meet at Wendy's the following day. Now, just in case you're not clear, I am not making this part up. It's true, right, Tom? No Burger King for this special woman. Tom knew he had to make reservations at the very top of the fast food restaurants. He even sprang for Frosties. Their courtship after Wendy's is not well documented. But at various times, they did visit other fast food restaurants. Vicki tells me that Terry and Tom were married at some point, though she has not been able to provide documentation. They settled in Wilmington at some point during the 1990s, and they had 2 daughters, Lizzie and Vicki. Where are you, Lizzie and Vicki? Right there? Well, and by the way, Lizzie's and Vicki's birth dates are fully documented. According to Vicki, Terry has always loved history, as none of you are surprised by that. In fact, she's even gone to a number of historical conferences for fun, during which, well, you can only imagine the crazy antics that go on at those things. However, despite the vagueness of Terry's distant past, the evidence is clear that she was an outstanding mom and wife, never missing her children's school or sporting events. And as you'll hear tonight, she demonstrated for her children an unwavering sense of the importance to community service. Terry, tonight we honor you as the 2025 Wilmington Good Guy, and it is well deserved. If you wanted to applaud for that, you may. What we're going to do, and we often will start this way, we're going to start, and this will give you some idea of just some of the things that Terry does for this town. We start by having one of the nomination letters read. Oh, you know what, before that, I haven't even done this. Let me, I just want to recognize a couple of people, and by a couple, I mean two. Politicians, town dignitaries. Where's Dave Roberts? Dave Roberts over there, Robertson. And Frank West is here from the Board of Selectmen, or Select Board. It is now Select Board. So thank you guys for coming. And I do want to recognize, Terry, your family, Lizzie McDermott and her boyfriend Will Kleinschmidt. Am I saying that correctly?
Close enough.
Nobody ever gets my last name wrong, right, so feel free to correct me. And your daughter, Vicki McDermott. And also your sister-in-law, Dee Corbett. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the reading of just one. And I don't remember how many, 15, 20 letters we got for Terry. So I'm going to invite, please, Kim Rose to come up and read this nomination letter on behalf of the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library.
Okay. Dear members of the Good Guy Award Committee, we are writing to wholeheartedly nominate Terry McDermott for the 2025 Good Guy Award. Terry is an extraordinary individual whose unwavering dedication to the Wilmington community has spanned decades, positively impacting countless lives across various organizations. Her steadfast commitment, leadership, and service make her an exemplary candidate for this prestigious recognition. Terry's volunteer work with the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library is truly exceptional. As a founding board member, she played a key role in establishing the organization and has remained a driving force behind its ongoing success. The mission of the Friends of the Library is to raise public awareness and provide financial support for services that extend beyond the town's budget. With this significant responsibility, fundraising events such as bookstore sales and jewelry sales are essential, and Terry is always at the forefront, helping with anything needed. She is consistently seen volunteering her time at the library, at library events, and making sure the Friends have a presence in the community. Terry's leadership is a constant source of inspiration as she leads with compassion, knowledge, and finesse. She brings out the best in volunteers, always making them feel appreciated and valued. Most recently, Terry has served as president of the Friends Board, and she can often be found meeting with library staff or volunteers, or simply taking a moment to engage with patrons in the library's seating area. Beyond her work with the library, Terry has made a profound impact on the youth of our community through her leadership with Destination Imagination, also known as DI. For many years, she served as team manager, guiding students in developing creative problem-solving skills. Under her mentorship, her team reached incredible heights, including competing at the global level, an achievement that speaks to Terry's exceptional leadership and dedication. When the town coordinator position became vacant, Terry took it upon herself to ensure the continued success and growth of the program, mentoring both the youth participants and the adult facilitators. Her guidance has been a cornerstone for the program's success. In addition to her roles with the library and Destination Imagination, Terry has generously volunteered with the St. Thomas Church Children's Liturgy Program, where she worked with youth, offering her time and support. Terry's contribution to Wilmington's history extend past her role as town curator, where she worked tirelessly to preserve and share the town's heritage. After her retirement, Terry continues to volunteer her time, assisting the town curator with tours, special events, and ensuring that Wilmington's history is passed down to future generations. Terry's knowledge, passion, and love for Wilmington have left a lasting legacy. She also served on the Historical Commission, further demonstrating her commitment to preserving the town's history. In 2012, Terry was also a committee member responsible for creating the History of Wilmington coloring book, a project that demonstrates both her creativity and her deep passion for preserving Wilmington's rich history. Terry is the embodiment of what it means to be a good guy in our community. She has selflessly devoted her time, energy, and heart to making Wilmington a better place for all its residents. Whether leading a youth team, preserving our town's history, or supporting the local library, Terry consistently goes above and beyond to ensure the well-being and success of our town. It is our privilege to nominate Terry for the Good Guy Award, as we can think of no one more deserving of this honor. Her service to our town is unparalleled, and her positive impact is felt by all who have had the pleasure of working with her. Thank you for considering this nomination. And it was signed by Joy LeMay, who's a member of the Friends of the Library Executive Board, and Natalie Hardy, who is the current library director. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. That was a pointed roast.
Yes. I don't even know where they found all that stuff out.
No, not from Vicky. They didn't find it out from Vicky, I can tell you that. All right, next, we're going to invite Chris Neville to the podium, who is going to read the nomination letter that was written by former town manager Jeff Hull, who was not able to attend today. Apparently tonight's just going to be nomination letters.
Everybody can hear me okay? I know that Mike Kyra also wrote a letter nominating you, Terry, for the award tonight. So I just want to let you know that yours was at least as good as his letter, which says, I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $1.5 million from available funds to put on a new roof and windows on the Herndon Tavern and to restore it to its original intention to be a speakeasy, and also to refurbish the Underground Railroad that runs underneath it, right? I made that part up. All right. How did I do?
Oh,
Good?
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think you can skip the real one.
All right, so on behalf of Jeff Hull, who could not be here tonight, this is Jeff's letter to the Good Guy Committee. Wilmington is extremely fortunate to have an abundance of residents who serve in various capacities to make the town an inviting, supportive, and enriching place to call home. This year, I have highly recommended the committee to select Terry McDermott as the 2025 Good Guy. I came to know Terry early on in my 36 years of service to the town. As you will likely hear from many others tonight, Terry spent countless hours of her time serving in many roles. She was a founding member of the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library in 1997 and served on their first executive board. Money raised through fundraising efforts of the Friends covered the cost of many children's and adult programs. The bookstore next door, which receives book donations and resells those books to the public, was the brainchild of the Friends, has been a reliable source of funds to supplement the library budget. Terry's efforts in conjunction with other Friends and working with then library director Tina Stewart to establish the bookstore next door resulted in the town of Wilmington receiving an innovation award from the Massachusetts Municipal Association. The award was granted based upon this unique concept of serving residents. Today, Ms. McDermott serves as the president of the Friends of the Wilmington Memorial Library. Terry has also been very involved in documenting and educating residents about Wilmington's rich history. She served on the Wilmington Historical Commission, served as the committee's recording clerk, and served as the first curator of the Herndon Tavern. Terry regularly gave tours to Boy Scout and Girl Scout groups, school classes, residents and non-residents alike. For many years during one of Wilmington's school department orientation days, Terry would charter a bus and bring new hires around the town talking about places of Wilmington's past and listen to Terry's recount stories of the people and places that Wilmington is known for. Staff would board the bus and listen to her recount stories. I just said that. It may not have been as splashy as the duck tours, but Terry's detailed descriptions helped new staff and aides develop a further understanding about Wilmington, which they could share with other students. Her dedication to uncovering and exhibiting Wilmington's history has been unmatched. The Historical Commission's budget was one of the smallest, if not the smallest budget in the town departments. Ever the consummate professional, she always maximized the use of those funds to cover costs for preserving historical documents, pursuing grants for funding window replacements at the tavern, and covering research costs to reveal more of Wilmington's history. Teaching the next generation and promoting lifelong learning are essential contributions to any community. While the most direct way to address those needs is through teaching in the classroom, Terry has passionately engaged in this pursuit in another way. There are many other attributes and contributions to which I suspect others will speak tonight. Based on many years of working with Terry, her upbeat, can-do attitude, and devotion to the town that she, her husband Tom, and daughters Vicky and Lizzie call home, makes Terry McDermott the perfect nominee to receive this year's Good Guy Award. Thank you for your consideration, Jeff Hull.
Chris Neville, what a fantastic, I was really impressed. It was compelling. It was almost like Jeff was here himself. All right, we're next going to welcome to the podium on behalf of the Wilmington Historical Commission, Bonnie Smith.
Thank you. Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Bonnie Smith. I'm the current chair of the Historical Commission. And I just wanted to say I was honored to be your decoy tonight. That was a very special, I loved your mouth when you came in the door. Where's Bonnie? It was great. What can I say about Terry? Terry and I came on the Historical Commission approximately around the same time, over 20 years ago. And working with Terry as a co-member, curator, historical advisor has been such a pleasure. Don't get me going. Don't look at me. I don't know how she keeps all the historical information in her head. I know I can't do it. Terry makes sure that every event, tour, program, presentation at the library that she was involved with was conducted with the most professionalism. We were very sad when there was some tears when Terry told us that she was going to retire at the end of 2021. But we knew she would help us find a successor. So we lost that person in early 2023, and I didn't have to do much begging to ask Terry to come back and step back in her role until we were able to find yet another replacement for Terry. I only asked her to open the museum a couple of days a week. However, Terry, being Terry, she couldn't just do that. She immersed herself in the acquiring and organizing of our beloved Adele Passmore's personal historical collection. She spent 8 months with us in this temporary assignment. Upon hiring Matt Beers in October of 2023, who's our current curator, she spent another month training him. Having him spend time with Terry we were just so grateful, and she just unselfishly offered that time. And when Terry and I are together, I am going to roast you just a tad here. When Terry and I are together, we just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And poor Matt was like, and I think it was the last week we were going to spend with her, I said, Terry, I really think Matt needs some time to himself. So we left Matt on his own volitions. But she also remains an incredible resource for Matt. She's always there for him. And so may I, on the behalf of the Historical Commission, congratulate you on a well-deserved honor. And most of all, thank you for your friendship.
Thank you, Bonnie. Very nicely done. You retired?
Can't you tell?
Did we know that? When we voted this year?
Well done.
We might have to rescind. All right, now representing, well, the state of Massachusetts, please welcome State Representative Dave Robertson.
So nice you could join us.
Thank you. Where's the award I'm supposed to give out? There it is.
Oh, what?
Thank you. I was so distracted by the coloring books you guys put down tonight. It's kind of weird, though. I think some of you talked to my parents because you want to give me the sharp crayons or the safety scissors, but I was going at it back there.
Very proud of you, Dave.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. For those of you here tonight, welcome. And for those at home and previous good guys, it's nice that you let me back in this room to be amongst you again. For those who, this might be your first year, traditionally it's supposed to be a little bit of a light roast, but well, I can't talk trash about the people I'm sitting with. They're too powerful. The good guys are too nice. The Historic Commission knows exactly what slots, what zoning slots and homes to disappear me into, so I'm just going to keep this very nice. It really is an honor to stand here today. I met Terry and the McDermotts now, I hate to say it, probably over a decade ago at this point, when I was working for my predecessor, Rep. Maselli. And I was told that T in Terry stands for tenacious, and it does. See, she's, and you're gonna wonder why I use this word, but a bit of an ironic person. And it's because she loves the past. But the irony is that she takes the past and she applies it towards the future, both in terms of the youth here in town, the directions the town's going, and just everything. It's amazing. You spend an
Dave,
hour.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to do a mic switch.
Okay.
Start over.
The contract says I'm paid by the line. All right. As I was saying, though, you spend an hour with Terry, and you feel like you should go up and ask the state for a degree in honorary history. And it's absolutely impressive. And the only person getting more excited than you talking about it is her. It really shines through. And at our table tonight, we were talking a little bit just about how... Pat.
First night of this one.
I can talk without a microphone. But we were talking at the table tonight, there's a lot of just tenseness in the world about government and public service at night. And it made us pause and reflect, because most of us had some sort of, as most people in this room, whether it's voluntary employment interaction and making this community better. And I know it's very cliche, but I really do think that's what makes Wilmington more than the town, and more than the community, and more a home. And Terry, it's people like you, just folks who didn't ask for a paycheck. The only question you had was when and where, and how can I help? And truly, and I know a lot of younger other folks in the community, look up to you and your volunteerism, myself included, sincerely. So, I promised the other good guys, and if you got a problem with the police, I recommend you talk to Mr. Neville before me. But the citation should get you at least out of one speeding ticket. If they don't know what you're talking about, just ask them, do you know who I am? And it'll work out. But it is a privilege here to present the citation from the state. And it says, be it hereby known to all, the House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Terry McDermott in recognition of the awarding of the 2025 Wilmington Good Guy. Your dedication and service to the Wilmington community through your acts at the Town Museum, the Memorial Library, the Historical Commission, Destination Imagination, Sarah Carter Committee, St. Thomas Church, and many more unnamed examples exemplify your very spirit of volunteerism and your passionate love for the community and her members. And we wish you the very best good, oh my God. I gotta go to the library more often. Maybe, it says you volunteer there. Maybe I can come by for some prayer. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for good future fortune. And it is my pleasure to present this to you today, Terry, and I look forward to another 10 years of success here as well, knowing you. I know. Well, actually, I forgot to sign it, and yes, tall people got to stick together. We finally ran Jeff Hall out of town. There it signed. That wasn't that mean. Good things come in small packages. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.
Dave, you might want to spend a little less time with the coloring books.
I got it inside the line.
You've known him for a decade.
Yep,
Yeah.
when he was working for Representative Sally, yeah.
I think I've known you about that long time. Like, we've known him since he was like this tall. All right, welcome to the podium on behalf of Destination Imagination, Eileen McDougall. I don't know if anybody's noticed. What we do is we seat the speakers against that wall so that they have to walk all the way. And what we hope is that the applause will die down before they actually reach the podium. There we go. Thank you.
I just want to be close to the cake. That's my priority. So, hello everybody, and Terry, I think you need to be thanking me.
I do. I already can tell you I do.
Because I have been Terry's predecessor for 2 of her accomplishments.
This is true.
The first was Destination Imagination, where I ran the program for the town, and this is a program where parents must not tell their kids anything. Basically, the kids have a challenge, and they have to solve it themselves. And if they are trying to glue together a greenhouse with pieces of chewed gum, you have to let them do it. You can't, you sit there through most meetings like this. And it's very difficult. And the other difficulty was keeping an eye on Andover parents who cheated all the time.
You can be judgmental, but you can't do anything about it.
So, so we couldn't say anything because that would be, couldn't say Andover was cheating. The other spot I preceded her in was as the president of the Friends of the Library, which was a great pleasure. I was president pre-Bookstore Next Door, and since the advent of the bookstore, everything changed. We set an example for the entire world of a great way to raise funds, but we were also given the use of the Bookstore Next Door by the town, for which we were eternally grateful. It's a good thing for the town to keep their fingers on properties that are adjacent to other town buildings, which means that maybe by 2060 we'll have a new library and they can knock down the little house next door. So when I think of Terry, what I think of the most is how happy I am to see her every time I see her. It's just, there's some people where you see them, you bump into them in Market Basket, and you just kind of scoot into the next aisle, or you go and you feel some cantaloupes or anything so that you don't have to see them. But it's always such a delight to see Terry, to speak with Terry, to spend time with her. So it's not only her civic life that's important, it's just what she is as a person. She's just one of the best people you'll ever meet. So Terry, congratulations.
Right back at you, man.
Eileen, at some point, you're going to realize that these are missing. I thought you were done.
You get it too.
I forgot trivia night.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, we went eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and Terry didn't step away soon enough.
I have to say that, so we went to a trivia night to raise funds for the bookstore next door, and our team won because of her. It's all because of her, and she should have this prize. But we all felt like they were so nice to be doing this fundraiser that it was it was hard to believe they were actually gonna give us a surprise as well, so I guess I gotta think about what I'm not gonna open it, so I don't know, can we raffle it off?
Well,
to
if it
somebody
had
else?
been red wine, I would have kept it.
But,
Thank you, Eileen McDougal. Vicki, that little story, I could have used that information. And by the way, I've known Eileen for a long time as well, and I noticed that I have never run into you at Market Basket. I always thought it was a coincidence. Now I'm starting to wonder. All right, our next speaker is representing the Wilmington Memorial Library. Please welcome Christina Stewart.
Everything you know about me is her fault. She started it all. I'm actually the retired library director. The current library director, I want to acknowledge Natalie Hardy sitting next to me.
Just for the record, I never said director.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, all right, okay. Hello, everyone, and it's really a pleasure to be here this evening and share my thoughts about Terry. And just share with you why she's so deserving of this award. So I met Terry in 1997, soon after I became director at the Wilmington Memorial Library. One of the first goals that we had was to organize a Friends of the Library. So that meant recruiting some of our power users at the library, our regular patrons. And there was a book discussion group called the Bookends. And Terry was one of the regular attendees. So I, of course, reached out to Terry and asked, would you like to help us get this organization off the ground? We're going to start a Friends of the Library. And she, of course, said sure. And she was one of the founding members, served on the first executive board as recording secretary and followed by publicity chair. So in those early years, Terry was very involved in promoting the Friends, recruiting members, and certainly working on our very first book sale at the library, sorting books and helping out with that first fundraiser and also just, recruiting new members and growing the organization. The one fundraiser that I want to share with you that really brought to my mind, and I learned about really how smart Terry was and how interested she was in local history, was when we did the Wilmington house tours. So in 2003, we decided to do a house tours in Wilmington, and we had to create a booklet, and the booklet included the descriptions of all the homes on the tour, and including historical homes and modern homes. So this was, there was, we had computers and word processing, but not like today. And Terry did the research for all the homes and wrote all the narrative for all the homes in this booklet. And she did it again in 2004 and in 2005. We did it for 3 years. And I thought, Terry, you should become a librarian. I mean, you're just the research and the meticulous and the detail that she put into this project was so impressive that I called Mike Kyra. And I said, if you ever have an opening on the Historical Commission, I have the perfect candidate for you. And subsequently, Terry was appointed to the commission, and soon after that, she was appointed to town curator at the Heart and Tavern Museum, where she worked, for 17 years? Yes. 17 years. So during that time, we worked very closely with Terry. So some libraries have archivists on their staff. We had Terry McDermott. And so there are a multitude of projects that we worked on together, and the coloring book pages that you see at the table was one of the projects that Charlotte and Charlotte Wood worked on with the high school art department to create the Wilmington coloring book. And she did numerous programs at the library. She's an expert on the history of Wilmington, but Silver Lake, the Harriman Tannery, and of course the famous Mrs. Hiller. So those programs have always drawn big crowds to our programs. And she was also the go-to person when we got that reference question on a local history topic that we couldn't find the answer to. So we would shoot an email off to Terry, and Terry tenaciously would find the needle in the haystack, or at least find out where we could look. She was just and that word tenacious is really tenacious Terry. She does not give up when she's doing research, and so that was really very impressive. And she continued to work with the staff until her retirement. And after she retired, I called her again and I said, Terry, would you like to come back on the Friends e-board? You have all this time now.
Before I retired.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
in my final days.
Oh, in your final day. So I got her before she retired. And so she said, okay, I'll come back. And she came back as a member at large and subsequently became the president of the Friends, which she is serving in that capacity now and is doing, as many speakers have said, she does yeoman's work. Terry is at every fundraiser or every event. Her presence is there. And I had the privilege of working with Terry at the bookstore next door. So whenever Martha needs a shift, I said, can I work with Anne St. Ange or Terry? Because I like to, they're my team. So we always catch up at the bookstore next door on Saturday afternoon shifts. So I still have the pleasure of seeing Terry at least monthly or bi-monthly working at the bookstore next door. And finally, Terry, so I retired in 2023 and I knew exactly how I wanted to leave the library. And I told Terry that, I want a reception, I want to invite the community. And Terry and Anne St. Ange gave me the reception that I really, really so much appreciate. It was exactly what I wanted. So I'm forever thankful for the wonderful reception they gave on my departure from the Wilmington Library. And in closing, I do have a little something for you. And so a couple years ago, Becky McGrath did a Wilmington Village display at the library. Becky is a very talented graphic artist, and she gave me a nice little gift of a Christmas ornament of the Wilmington Library, which I hang on my tree every Christmas. And so I thought, wouldn't that be nice to give Terry tonight? So I called Becky like 2 days ago, and I said, Becky, do you have any of these around the house? And she said, no, but I think I may have the files for them. And so thank you to Becky. She created this for me to give to you tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations, and certainly for being a wonderful friend of the library and a very dear friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to say, by the way, that when it comes to doing research under Tina's tenure at the library, she increased the resources for research so much by digitizing all of the newspapers and the town reports and all of that kind of stuff. A lot of those materials are at the museum, but boy, they're hard to go through when you don't have some sort of an index or something like that. And everything that you created there made it talk about a joy. It was a joy to go online and to look up some obscure word and find the answer to something you were looking for. And the other thing is about her party. She knew exactly what she wanted. She knew exactly what she wanted.
And you delivered.
Yeah, so it wasn't that difficult because she was very specific. And we were very happy to do it for her. It was the least we could do. Thank you.
And as far as the digitation, I had a great staff in Charlotte. I think Charlotte worked really hard on digitizing the town crier and Brad
Awesome.
McKenna. So it's a great team.
Yes.
It's a great team. Thank
Great team
you.
at the library.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Terry, Tina's dinner's next week.
Okay. I'll be here. I don't know what I'll make for her, but I'll be here.
And I think it's wonderful that Tina mentioned you and Anne St. Ange as her favorite people. She doesn't like the other volunteers at the bookstore. But she will work with Terry and Anne St. Ange.
She loves everybody and everybody loves her.
And I think it was so nice, Becky, wherever you went. Becky, I think it was very nice that she loved your gift so much she re-gifted it. Tina Stewart, one of the best. All right, now representing Wilmington Select Board, please welcome Selectman Frank West.
Thank you for coming.
Okay, I look around and it looks like a town meeting. I'm kind of nervous. I just want to make sure there's no man in the microphone in the back of the room to speak over anyone. Okay, it looks like the coast is clear. It's a Wilmington joke for you out-of-towners, sorry. It's nice to be here. It's nice to see all the good guys. One of the ones I'd like to recognize is Chris Neville. I remember years ago, Chris, I was at Market Basket one day. I was parked in front of Market Basket in the fire lane. And Chris, you know, it was dead of winter, and all, you know, my wife was in there shopping, just, you know, like, you know, typical, you know, getting 2 things and 30 minutes later coming out. So anyhow, Chris pulls up in the cruiser and I roll down my window. I say, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" He's like, "Good." I said, "What brings you here, Chris?" He's like, "Oh, I'm getting people to remove themselves from the fire lane." I looked at him and I said, "Oh, how's that going?" So, Terry. I've known Terry probably fingers and toes.
20+ years?
I think one of our first meetings, I think, had to do with the Historical Commission.
Must have.
I was on the commission from 1990 to 2012, but I know we also met at St. Thomas. And for anyone that doesn't know, you know, Terry would do the children's liturgy downstairs, but the real challenge was doing the what's that?
The donuts?
No, the donuts. But also now all of a sudden the word escapes me. The right after Christmas. The Epiphany. The Epiphany.
My friend Ginger is not here, but yes, the Epiphany pageant, that was a big deal.
Trying to corral like 20 kids and, you know, to do a pageant for the youth was fantastic. Also, I'm also the current captain of the Wilmington Minutemen, and one thing about Terry was that she wanted to come to one of our events, which was the June Day Parade in Boston.
Free food.
Free food. It's an all-day parade, and what happens is that it happened to be the rainiest, windy day, and Terry, what did you do,
I
Terry?
was holding a flag.
Terry had the American flag. She's like walking along the streets of Boston like this with the American flag, and it's like,
It was a challenge.
well, the challenge came every time her tricon fell off. She's like, what do I do? I can't bend down and get it, so what do we do?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you get it for me? I don't know.
I would get it for you, because I was beside you with the guide on, but it was like, and the thing is that she enjoyed that event so much, she's never asked to come back.
I remember Ash Carter spoke. Ash Carter spoke.
Was it Ash Carter?
At the dinner. Yeah, that was a pretty impressive. The dinner was pretty impressive.
Yeah, the parade in Boston is the Ancient Honorable Artillery Association, and the Minutemen are part of the parade. So it's their drumhead election over at Boston Common, and then they have a party afterwards at the Park Plaza. But everybody's been asking me lately. They've been talking about, well, who's going to be the next chair? Who's the next chairman going to be, and all this stuff. And I said, and everyone, I said, what are you talking about? And they'd be like, yeah, you get this thing coming up, in the next few days. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right too. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask the good guys if they would nominate Terry as the chair of the Good Guy Committee.
What?
So there's 2 things I'd like to present. One as the captain of the Minutemen. When Terry first retired, what we did was that we got her a coin, a penny from 1775. And presented it to her because that's the founding of our nation. And it's like, I can't give her another one, so that doesn't make any sense. So I said, you know what? We have something, we have another anniversary that's coming up. Where Wilmington was founded in 1730, so we're 295 years old in September. So on behalf of the Wilmington Minutemen, I'd like to present you a coin from 1730.
Oh, that is super cool.
And speaking on behalf of the Wilmington Board of Selectmen, or Select Board, excuse me, what I'd like to present is I'd like to present Terry a Paul Revere ball. And it is inscribed to a real good guy, Teresa A. McDermott.
That is me.
So you can.
My assistant here in charge. Thank you.
Well done, Frank. When he was packing that up, I thought you were going to take it back. And that was a great little anecdote, bringing Chris Neville into the play. Oh, you were waiting in the fire lane of Demoulas or Market Basket, and your wife Karen was in Market Basket for a lot longer than you expected. She obviously is somebody that Eileen McDougal doesn't mind talking to. All right, next up, representing the Sarah Carter Committee, please welcome to the podium, Barbara Bishop.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here tonight to celebrate someone who has quickly become an incredible asset, not only to our committee, but to the town of Wilmington as a whole. Terry is a relatively new member of the Sarah Carter Lecture Committee, which I have the privilege of chairing. Before she joined, I had never met her, but I'll never forget her first meeting. There we were, all sitting around the table with our notebooks and our pens and pencils, ready to begin, excuse me, and in walks Terry with her laptop. Right then and there, I knew we were in luck. From the start, Terry didn't let being the new person slow her down. She jumped right in and started helping with a wide variety of tasks, and I mean a myriad of tasks. She dove into computer research, helping to find performers for our upcoming concerts, designed our posters for advertising, wrote wonderful articles for the town crier, and even helped with our application for the Mass Cultural Council grant. And as if that weren't enough, she also took on the redesign of the Sarah Carter website and continues to keep it beautifully updated. Her knowledge of Wilmington's history is nothing short of phenomenal. And what amazes me most, she didn't even grow up in Tiny Town. I'd come home from meetings and say to my husband, who by the way is a townie, "Did you know that such and such about Wilmington?" And he'd look at me and say, "No," but then he'd say, "Oh yeah, of course I did." Terry is more than just a dedicated committee member. She's a remarkable woman, full of energy, curiosity, and a genuine love for the town. It has been truly a joy working with her, and tonight I'm deeply honored to stand here and be a part of this well-deserved celebration in her honor. Thank you. And I'm sorry I don't have
Continuing the tradition.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara Bishop. And congratulations, you gave me absolutely no ammo. So we will move on. Our next speaker, representing the parish of the Transfiguration Children's Liturgy, Deb Casey.
So first of all, I was asked to speak on the behalf of the Parish Transfiguration, specifically Children's Liturgy. Thanks, Frank, I don't have anything else to say. My connection, again, with Terry was through Children's Liturgy, through the Parish of the Transfiguration, back when it was just St. Thomas. That was about 20 years ago, which I find hard to believe because Terry and I are only 35. So we started very young. And it's one of the things that I don't think, or two things that I don't think people realize about Terry is that she's an absolute fabulous singer.
Really?
Because
that's what I did lead, didn't I?
when she would lead in between, the psalm and things like that was sung for the kids, we'd all stand there and take a step back and kind of push her forward.
Had to be done.
And Terry would step up and do the singing. She's also a fabulous live timekeeper. Believe it or not, the timing of getting the kids upstairs so that they didn't interrupt Mass was critical. So one of the things that Terry would do, because that was her function, was stand there and go. And that let us all clearly knew it was time and to line the kids up. So now into the heartfelt words, because it is, it's teaching kids of passing on of the faith. Again, it's my great honor to speak on behalf of Children's Liturgy. Terry is at the heart of what we hope a faith community should be. Compassionate, thoughtful, devoted, and quietly steadfast in her mission. While many of us serve in seasons, Terry serves in spirit, not only while her children were part of the program, but long after they had grown up, which is another pattern I keep hearing. She continues to stay and says, I'm leaving, and then, no, you're not. Her continued presence and commitment to Children's Liturgy have been a gift, not to just the program, but to every child and volunteer who passed through its walls. What makes Terry so deserving of this Good Guy Award is not just her time or her consistency, though those alone would earn our gratitude, but the way she served. Every week, Terry took time to review the readings and the gospel in advance. You want to talk about history, we're talking about the Bible. Terry took time to review all that thoughtfully, breaking them down into language and examples that made sense to young children. She didn't settle for simplification. She translated scripture into something thoughtful, meaningful, and something relatable to children. Not an easy task to get fifth graders to relate to what you're saying, telling them how to be a good person. I fondly remember getting ready for our annual Epiphany pageant. Terry had the trusty folder with all the detailed informations right down to the lineup of the procession, something that everyone always forgot. We always said, we're going to keep track of it, but Terry did. And that sounds like something very simple, but when you have a bunch of kids and parents and a priest, you have to make sure that the North Star, Mary, the shepherds, the wise men, the angels, and Jesus are all in the correct order.
Very important. That's very important.
It takes a special kind of wisdom to make the Word of God both accessible and inspiring to an elementary age student, and Terry did it with warmth and joy week after week. She was and continues to be a role model, not just to children, but to all of us who served alongside of her. She welcomed new members and volunteers with encouragement and guidance, offering both practical tips and a sense of belonging. Her insight into the readings often helped them see a new light in ourselves, showing us how the lessons of faith apply to real life, and how we can walk the Catholic path with our children and not just for them. Terry's faith isn't something she kept to herself. She shared it generously, planting seeds in young hearts that we may never fully see grow, but we can be assured that they are growing and on the road to blossom because of her. This instilled in them a basic sense of being the best version of themselves. So tonight, thank you, Terry, for your dedication, your kindness, your wisdom, and your unwavering belief in the importance of passing our faith to the next generation. It's been around for 2,000 years, and she wasn't about to let it drop now. You've made a difference, and we are better for having you alongside of us. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. You are in every sense a good guy. Thank you.
I just do
And
want to
I
say.
don't have anything to give you, but here's a Hershey kiss.
Oh, sure, thanks, lovely, thank you. My friend Deb and our other friend Ginger were amazing and really the guiding force of Children's Liturgy. I just have to say that because you guys were amazing as well. I'm unbelievable, thank you.
That is so typical of a good guy recipient. You keep trying to give credit to everybody else. Thank you, Deb. I would love to poke fun at some of that, but I'm not going after religion. I got too many strikes against me right now. I'm just barely getting
He
in.
hung around with the bad guys.
All right. Just so you guys know, we're down to just 30 more speakers. We're at the point now where we're ready to bring up, Pat, this is killing me. I'm not the only one hearing it, right? All right.
Before you got up.
It was fine before I got up. Yeah, it's all me. It's all me.
You've got a pretty good voice. You don't need it.
I don't need the mic, but somebody else might. Tom, will you need the mic?
Probably.
Yeah, because all right, we are now at the point where we're going to invite Tom up to
man.
talk about his wife Terry.
I haven't heard him speak publicly in like 25 years.
Not since Wendy's.
I'll try not to get myself into too much trouble. There's no way I could top any of the stuff that we've heard about Terry tonight. It's been so nice to hear from her friends and colleagues in these great activities and organizations. From the family, we're well aware that this takes place. I just have a very brief story to tell you that I think hits home about sort of Terry's style and the way she handles some of these challenges, some of these opportunities.
Like dinner being late?
So 2 years ago, our youngest, Vicky, was appointed as the race director for the Wilmington 5K. It's kind of a nice thing. Terry and I were thrilled to see it. We thought it was a great idea.
Part of the 4th of July committee?
What's that?
It's part of the 4th of July committee.
Part of the first, yeah, oh, yep, definitely.
Just thought I knew that.
Okay. So we did what we thought was the right parenting thing to do. We simply told Vic that we're here for you. If you need any help, let us know. Otherwise, we're happy to just watch and cheer on your success story. So Vic says, we got volunteers, we should be good, but thanks for the offer. I think everything's okay. So that's the way it was supposed to go. That's the way I expected it was going to happen. Until about 3 days before the race was scheduled to take place. And I came home from work one night, and Terry's always there. She always has dinner for me. It's awesome. I get home from work and always ready.
Very predictable like that.
But there was one night when I came home, and instead of seeing her, I saw a note. And I don't know how many of you see notes like this. Occasionally, I think people see notes like this. So the note said, dinner. There was an arrow. There's a picture of a refrigerator. Arrow. A picture of a microwave. Arrow. Enjoy. And I smiley face. So that was really cool. And down at the bottom was, we'll be at the 4th of July headquarters. So I did what I did for a bit and then got a little curious, and I took a ride down to see what was going on and to see whether or not she was being Terry. And of course she was. So when I got there, they have this exercise they go through. There are 200 entries, and they all have numbers, and they all have different size T-shirts and a lot of stuff. They put packets together for all these pre-entries, and it's kind of a big deal. And contrary to popular belief, these packets that they give to all the runners with all the right T-shirts and all the right numbers and all the other stuff to get stuff in them are not prepared by the road race fairies. These are put together by the people who put on the race. So she had worked with Vic to put something together that looked almost like could have been a Ford Motors assembly line. It was awesome. There were plastic bags and labels and runners' numbers and different size T-shirts, and on it went. And at the end of that, I walked in and Vic said, "Isn't it great?" She came down here. I thought this was going to take me 3 days. Wound up taking about 3 hours. So they churned through the whole thing and completed it. So, okay, that's fine. That's great. I'm glad you jumped in. Really cool. Anything else you got in mind? And she said, no, I'm just going to watch the race from the corner of Federal Street and Flynn Way, which is about the 2-mile mark. So I said, okay, good. Day of the race, I went downtown just to see if Vic needed anything to watch the race and have fun with it. While I was there, I got there a couple hours early, I see Terry pull up in her car. So she pulls up to the 4th of July headquarters, goes into the headquarters with another volunteer or two, and they pull out these stands that are like the mile splits, the 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile thing, loaded in her car, and she's off. So she's putting the mile splits around. Okay, this is how she just watches. So that's fine, that's cool, I'm glad to see you doing that. Then people come in. I know a lot of people running the race, and they just come in thrilled. They said, what a wonderful job Terry's doing for us. This was really great to have her there. And I'm like, what? What was she doing? Turned out she was the one setting up tables, bottles of water, 200 cups, filling them up and handing them to all the runners. So she put the water stop on in the race. This is all real, right? I mean, this is a true story. And then a group of, at the very end of this race, and you know, the way this works with the water stop, 2 miles out, the first runners come through, they come blasting through 10 minutes or so, and then there's a slew of people, and it's kind of hard to give out the water. But after that, it gets really spread out. And then it gets really spread out. And you get people that are walking, you don't know if things are over, things are not over. At the very end, this really cute family came in, and this was long after everybody else had finished, and they were just thrilled. They said, you know, we were out there, we didn't think anybody would be there for us. We were so far behind, and we got to that 2-mile mark, and it was so nice to see everybody else was gone, everything else was done, and there was Terry with cups of water for the little kids and for the people running the race, the last people who came in. So that is how Terry just watches. It doesn't happen with her. She sees an opportunity to do something, she jumps in and does it. It sounds like it's been a common theme through all these different activities and events that she jumps in the middle of. So I know there are a lot of good guys, a lot of really good people in the town of Wilmington. This is a great town to live in. Very happy that we've been here for some 30-odd years. And that doesn't happen by itself. But tonight, I want to pay a special thanks on behalf of the family to the Good Guy Committee for selecting a person who I think is an excellent example of what being a good guy in Wilmington is all about, and my wife, Terry. And I also want to thank Terry for being my own special good guy. So thank you.
That was so well done, Tom. Honestly, very nice. I love, by the way, I love that message that you left with all the pictures.
Hey, puzzle. You know?
She's very impressed with your intelligence. And by the way, just for the record, that's a perfect message apparently for state legislators. They can color in the message and then make their dinner. And I love, let me ask you, Vicki, by the way, did you actually have any involvement in the 5K?
I did.
Because in that story, you got no credit whatsoever. I'm sure she did a lot. This is all just fun. All right, let's welcome to, oh, by the way, I'm supposed to remind you once again to please, on your way out, sign the guest book. If you didn't do it on the way in, please do that so that Terry is able to recognize everybody that showed up. If you sign it, Terry will send you a $25 gift certificate
Go back to work.
to Wendy's. All right, we're going to welcome to the podium 2015 Good Guy and St. Ange to present charity donations.
This really isn't my favorite thing to do, but I love Terry and I like doing things for Terry. First of all, congratulations. And certainly we all know that she deserves this evening and all the accolades. I have the pleasure of working with Terry on the Sarah Carter Committee and the Friends of the Library. In fact, Terry followed me as president of the Friends. I certainly am glad I followed her. I would not want to follow, that I led her.
You were a hard,
because
tough act to follow. You're kidding me?
You would be a terribly hard act to follow, and I wouldn't want to be doing that. She's a wonderful person to work with, as everyone knows, and always willing to do her share and more. She has fresh, new ideas and always takes her share of the work. It's my pleasure to inform you, Terry, that a donation from tonight's, I should have pulled this up first, from tonight's event will be given to two of your favorites, I hope, to the Hardin Tavern and to the Friends of the Library, a donation.
Oh.
And so that's our presentation.
Oh, wow.
And St. Ange, who on her way up whispered to me that she hates public speaking. Weren't you a school teacher? For many years?
That was years ago.
All right, now it's time to welcome to the podium the 2024 Good Guy recipient to present this year's award and Book of No, which I'm sure was supposed to be nominations, Book of Nomination Letters. Please welcome Jen Bolanos.
My first memory of Terry is from when my children would attend the children's liturgy on Sunday mornings. I was always impressed with how kind she was and how fun she was able to make church for young children. Terry, I hope you have enjoyed your trip down memory lane as much as I have enjoyed listening to the stories and learning more about you. I even learned you created a coloring book. As a lifelong resident, I take great pride in Wilmington and its sense of community. Thank you for being one of the people that continues to make Wilmington such a special place to call home. It is my honor to ask you to all please rise as I present the 2025 Good Guy Award to Terry McDermott.
I'll take care of the mess. That's right there for now. All right, and at this point, we generally invite this year's Good Guy to say a few words. I think you've had your time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium, Terry McDermott.
Anyone who knows me knows that I don't speak without prepared remarks. I can't thank you all enough. I will have imposter syndrome for the rest of my life. Everybody here is truly amazing. I'm not exaggerating. I did want to say, talk about what a wonderful town this is. And, people talking about me stepping up, which is very kind. But thinking about the 4th of July race specifically as an example, there's a lot of examples of this. But when we talk about how I helped with the water stop over the years, I've done some years more than others, but there was one year where I was helping at the water stop, and if you work at a water stop at a race, part of what happens is people throw cups on the ground because they're all running and they're in a rush, and so part of doing the water stop was not just providing the water but cleaning up afterwards. And so as the race runners were thinning down, I was picking up the cups. I had a trash bag with me. After a few years, I kind of learned what the routine was. But people in the neighborhood who were not participating in the race came to help me. And just because they saw me doing it, they weren't participating in the race or whatever. And that's kind of that's what Wilmington is, right? Is people, we all come together to create these amazing events in this amazing town. And all of us are only as good as the people around us, right? And certainly with people I worked with, the most years at the Friends of the Library and the Historical Commission, so many smart people, so many hardworking people. I know a couple of people from the Friends of the Library aren't here tonight, and the ones who aren't here, or at least 2 of them anyway that I can think of offhand, do so much that I'd be embarrassed to have them looking at me here. They do so much. But anyway, thank you so much for even considering me to be worthy of this award. And thank you to my family, who has put up with more than one late dinner. He's very kind to say that one time. But, and thank you to my daughters, my daughter Vicky has also become very involved in the town. My daughter Lizzie worked for the town crier for a while, so she kept me informed as to what was going on at times when I wasn't paying attention. My husband, who just amazingly puts up with everything I do. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's all I can say.
Ladies and gentlemen, Terry McDermott. And that concludes our program for the evening. Please partake in what's left of the cake, of the cookie. Oh, there's a whole bunch of pieces already sliced. I think Becky did that. But please, enjoy yourselves, mingle. I would ask that all the good guys, previous good guys, get together with Terry. We always do a photograph at the end. And other than that, please, don't forget to take home your souvenir tables and chairs. And have a wonderful, wonderful night.